Hey, so the reason I'm in a bit of a rush here in Singapore is not because I'm trying to evade the Singaporean police. I'm not doing anything bad like imported chewing gum or being a Jehovah's Witness. In fact, I've never witnessed Jehovah ever in my life. However, I do have lots of things to do, lots of touristy things. Whilst I'm here in Singapore for the week, for example, going to the zoo to taunt the animals and just all the general touristy things that you would do in Singapore. But as usual, I'm going to make some time to take a few photos with a new vintage camera. This time I've got a Minolta, if I can remember, x300, which I recently bought off eBay for £50. And it also came with two lenses, a 51.4 no less, and also a 28mm lens. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to head towards one of Singapore's best free, which is probably the most important part of this, best free view of the city, which is in the National Gallery. So I'm going to head towards there now, take a few photos along the way. At the moment I've got the 50mm lens on. I'm probably going to keep that on until I get to the National Gallery. Okay, well here is the National Gallery. All I need to do now is get to the top to find the viewpoint so we can get a good view of the rest of the city. So let's head on in. So like I said, with me is the Minolta x300, an absolutely amazing example of affordable 80s technology. And one thing that I noticed underneath the camera was the word Malaysia, which is kind of interesting because Malaysia is roughly about an hour's drive that way. But much like a North Korean defector, unfortunately, this camera is never going to return to its place of birth. So that's me done with the National Gallery here in Singapore, and if I was to draw any similarities between the National Gallery here in Singapore and the one that I really like in London, both have fantastic bathroom facilities. Anyway, on that note, I'm going to head back out later on tonight. The last time I tried to do photos at night with a film camera was in Dubai, and that went not too great, but we're going to try again. This time we've got a tripod, so things should go a lot better. So yeah, I'm going to see you guys later on tonight. The Minolta x300 is back out, and this time we're attached to a tripod, so hopefully the camera is going to feel pretty secure. And maybe for the first time in my life, I'm also going to feel secure. One thing that doesn't fill me with security is the limited settings on this camera, especially in manual mode. The shutter speeds go from 1 second to 1/1000th of a second, which obviously I'm not going to be using a shutter speed like that right now, but 1 second doesn't seem slow enough. Or does it? I don't know. Fortunately, the automatic mode does go all the way down to 4 seconds, so I'm going to be dipping between the two, trying out a few different settings for each photo, and hopefully something's going to work. And look where we are, we're back at the National Gallery, and yeah, so to start off the shutter speed experiment, we're going to start with 1 second. Okay, and now on auto mode. How do those pictures come out? Any good? I will have no idea until they're developed, but I feel pretty confident that they'll be okay. Obviously, I've got the lens. This is a 28mm lens, and the aperture is set to the widest aperture, which I think is 3.5. So not the widest aperture, but it'll do. What else can I do? I can't make it any wider. So that's the famous Marina Bay Sands Hotel. I did actually have a look on booking.com to see how much it was, and even myself with level 3 genius status, it was way too expensive. But I can take a photo of it for free, I assume, so that's what I've gone and done. And yeah, now let's carry on. Let's take a few more photos. Obviously I don't want to stay out too late. I don't want to give my age away, but staying up past midnight is not going to happen anymore.
Because they like.
Just on my way to Chinatown, but first I want to introduce you to a very special friend of mine. So let's go say hello to him. Hopefully I'm going to be a bit more daring and actually take some photos of some people rather than just photographing the buildings. Now, when I went to China a few years ago, lots of people photographed me, so I kind of feel like it's only fair that I return the favour, albeit in Chinatown and not China itself. But yeah, let's see if I can overcome the anxiety and photograph some strangers. But on the way, there is one building that I'm going to photograph, and I'm going to show you which is probably one of my favourite buildings in Singapore. Let's go check it out. So on my camera at the moment I have the 28mm lens on still, and I'm just finishing off my second roll of film. And so far my thoughts on the Minolta x300 are relatively positive. It's fine, it hasn't blown me away, but I'm still pretty happy with the camera. One aspect that I do really like is the shutter speed display. I think that's really cool and unique. But will I be taking it on my next trip? I'm not sure yet, but I still got 3 weeks to decide which camera I'm going to be taking with me. Before I leave Chinatown, I'm going to quickly just show you one of the hawker markets. Singapore's famous for these food markets, and this is one that I ate at a few days ago. It's really interesting. I'm not going to eat there tonight. In fact, we're going to go to another hawker market later on. I just thought I'd quickly show you how interesting this market is.
Wow, it's early here in Singapore. I'm pretty much coming to the end of my trip. I'm going to be going to the airport in an hour or two. So I thought I'd just finish off by doing one last walk. I'm going to head towards the sort of downtown business district, which I haven't really photographed too much before. So yeah, I'm just going to finish off my trip and finish off the video with a few more photos of some really tall buildings. I'm going to end the video just here, and if you're curious and want to see a few more photos from this trip and other trips that I've done in the past, please feel free to follow me on Instagram. I'll leave the details in the description below, and hopefully I'll see you guys next time for my next trip, which is in Tunisia.